Greetings, friends. Welcome to my new format where I'm going to try to call this series the Meat Team Monologue. So this will be number one. What I wanted to talk about today was the pros and cons of a low carb, healthy fat diet. Also can be called ketogenic, or if you go as far extreme as I have gone, the carnivore, which cuts out all of the vegetables and only allows for animal products, which most people call meat, but it's beef, lamb, pig, dairy, seafood, poultry, anything that comes from any kind of animal. I guess technically you could have insects if you wanted, since they're not a plant, but I'm not into insects. So if you take a second and comment below what type of diet that you think would work best for you, comments and subscribing and liking this video really helps the YouTube algorithm, and the last video was very successful, so I'm going to try to keep this one going along the same lines. Thank you for taking a moment to comment. Thank you for watching me. Thank you for watching me to the end. That helps the algorithm a lot also. But I wanted to go over some of the things that are beneficial about a low carb, high fat, or healthy fat diet that you may not understand if you're used to traditional dieting. Okay, the first thing is there's no calorie restriction. You can eat as much as you want as long as you eat the products that are allowed. So that would mean the technical kind of agreed upon definition, even though there is no set in stone amount of what constitutes low carb, is technically somewhere around 120 to 140 grams of carbohydrates a day or less. Okay, the average person in Western society consumes over 300 grams of carbohydrates any given day. So this diet is cutting you at least in half, maybe a little bit further. As you're aware, if you watched any of my older videos, I am part of the Virta Health Program, which is a medically supervised ketogenic diet program, basically. They cut me back to 30 grams of carbs per day maximum. Still no calorie restriction, but what you'll find when you get your fat percentage up high enough, the fat intake, not your body fat, because you're trying to burn that off. And it makes no sense that eating fat burns fat, but it does. That's just how our bodies work. We've kind of been lied to ever since 1950 when the government got involved. Oh, big surprise. The government involved, lies are being said. But anyway, number one, you don't have to calorie restrict. You don't have to count calories. I actually set up the MyFitnessPal app at 30 carbs, and it pretty much, it's a little bit off on how much protein and how much fat I could use in a day to hit those 30 grams of carbs. Of course, it uses just traditional input for what people generally eat. I'm a little heavier on the protein side, even though I'm not supposed to go over 112 grams of protein a day. I think it gives me like 98 or something, so I need to go a little over on that. And then it gives me 250 some grams of fat, which I need a little bit less than that. But one of the benefits of the keto or low carb, carnivore, whatever term you want to use, let's try to keep it to low carb, healthy fat. But it can be any variation of it, but I would not recommend sticking at 120 grams of carbs unless you're just starting out. But what you'll find is as you add an ounce or two of healthy fat, i.e. cream cheese, heavy whipping cream, butter, olive oil, or no, actually the hard cheese is protein. I'm trying to think of what the other. Well, they say canola oil on Virta, but I'm kind of against canola oil because of the high PUFAs. So butter for sure, which has the butter fat, which gives you the vitamins. And this is why things are called healthy fats. Butter, cream cheese, heavy whipping cream, they all have fat-soluble vitamins, which no plant oil has. Not even coconut. Coconut oil is the other healthy fat, I just remembered. But it's a plant-derived healthy oil, as is olive oil, and neither of them have the fat-soluble vitamins, which help to keep you healthy. So, no calorie restriction. You don't need to exercise. In fact, there's lots of articles and books coming out now saying that exercise really is not beneficial for initial weight loss. It's beneficial for keeping the weight off. I discussed that in another video when I asked a question if exercising heavily had helped you lose weight. And I'm going to do another video at some point on the 3 approaches I've taken to lose weight, and they've all been successful for a while. I think this new one, Carnivore Keto, is the only one that has the potential to be successful lifetime, long term, because I like the foods. And people would say low carb, high fat is a restrictive diet. But if you consider that you're only restricting the things that will kill you, I don't really see that as a restrictive diet. I am a meat eater. I've always been meat and potatoes and bread, which I can't do a lot of potatoes or bread right now, but I can find plenty of seafood and animal products to keep me very happy. And here, the whole point, or the way you lose weight, is to, or the point, the point is to satiate yourself with the fats, adding them to your meals so that you are not hungry, so you do not crave the things you are cutting out, avoiding, at least temporarily. You know, I said you could go up to 120, 130 carbs and still be considered low carb. And eventually, as I work through Verta, and hopefully you'll do it this same way, cut your carbs way down and then slowly add them back up to where you can find, once you get to the weight that you want to maintain, then you can add a little bit more carbs until you start gaining weight, and then you'll know what your carb tolerance is. So I'm never hungry on this diet. Generally, if I eat breakfast, it's some farm fresh eggs with an ounce to 2 ounces of heavy whipping cream. If you drink coffee, you can put heavy whipping cream in your coffee instead of your eggs or tea, whatever you have in the morning. Just don't have orange juice. Don't have any kind of fruit juice. Number one, it's a plant product. And if you're doing plants, you might consider that, but it has as much sugar as Coca-Cola. So avoid the fruit juices. But what I have is the Brookdale luncheon meat or Spam. You can have bacon, you can have ham, you can have sausage, you can have steak with your eggs. But the way I add the fat is through the heavy whipping cream and cooking the eggs in coconut oil. That satisfies me for a long time. Of course, I work evenings, so I don't always get up in time to eat a traditional breakfast. It may be 2 o'clock when I eat breakfast, and then I usually don't eat dinner or lunch or whatever the next meal is until I'm at work, like 6 or 7 o'clock at night. So I don't get hungry. But you can snack on cheese with maybe some ranch dressing. I found some ranch dressing that has canola oil as the primary ingredient instead of soybean oil, so it's a little bit better. I'm going to try not to get too much into the omega-6s in this video, but what are just the benefits of, or the differences with low carb, high fat that you may not be used to on a regular, traditional diet. One of the big benefits or differences with low carb, high fat is that you're not hungry, you're not starving all the time. You can drop down to 1 or 2 meals a day and still not feel deprived. Just make sure you get enough fat in that meal, added fat, ingested fat, so that you don't get hungry and that you keep your ketones up. I don't recommend the strips you pee on, because your ketones are going to jump at the beginning when you start burning your body fat. Verta actually sent me a Keto Mojo glucose and ketone monitor, where you prick your finger just like if you have diabetes, and you have a test strip for glucose and a test strip for ketones. You don't have to get that. You can also get just a ketone monitor if you want. But if you're going to go that route, I recommend the blood test, not the urine or saliva test, because those have their limitations. You don't need it. If your pee starts stinking, you'll know you're in ketosis. If your breath starts stinking, you'll know you're in ketosis. Those are both kind of just, or the breath especially, the halitosis is just a temporary condition. But so the three main benefits are you don't have to calorie restrict. You don't have to count your calories. Only count your carbs. You should try to weigh your protein. And I'll go into, send me a message on Facebook or Instagram at CP59Fit if you want to know what the proper amount of protein for your sex and height is. And then I can give you a number, or we can have a discussion. You can maybe put it in the comments down here. I try to answer every comment still, since I'm a very small channel and growing in influence. I have time to answer everybody. But the no calorie restriction, I don't find it restrictive. You can eat anything you want that falls into the category you choose, whether it's low carb, starchy vegetables if you're on keto, no vegetables if you're on carnivore, just animal products. And then you just watch the weight come off. So I'm going to wrap this up before it gets too long, but please, I hope that helped. Let me know if it helped. Let me know if you learned something. Put it in the comment below, but you'll really let me know if you hit the subscribe button and the little bell to notify you when a new video comes out. Right now I'm doing good just to get one a week up, but I want them to be quality, so I'm actually deleting the one I did last night, which I've already announced is coming on, and this one is going to replace it. So hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, comment. That way you'll be a good friend of mine, and I'll know you are getting something out of this, which will encourage me to continue. Thank you. Have a great day.